94.3 Radio 1, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. What we're trying to do is trying to see if we can make you fall in love with the written word. See if you can seduce you with the fragrance that wafts out when you open a new book, which is what I'm doing, so that the communication is idiot-proofed. Bad acting, but it's a great novel that we're talking about. It's called An Unholy Drought. It's by the wonderful Madhulika Liddle. If you know about the venerable Muzaffar Jung, then you will know about Madhulika Liddle. But if you don't, 17th century detectives to a family saga full of intrigue is what this is about. Madhulika, I've been a fan of Muzaffar Jung for a while, and to finally get you to compile all the words into this beautiful novel is wonderful. So tell us the story of An Unholy Drought.
Actually, An Unholy Drought is the second book in a series which is called the Daily Quartet. And I've been wanting to do this series for quite a while. I had this in mind that I wanted to do a series which sort of told the story of Delhi's history.
Sure.
It was based on this, there was this thing which inspired me. Years ago, I read a book by an author called...
Sometimes it's, yeah.
But I know the book. The book is called Sorum. And it is about the history of Salsbury, the city of Salsbury in England.
Oh, lovely.
And the story starts in the Ice Age and ends in 1984. And I was blown away by it because this man, he sort of went through all those periods.
Sure.
And you never felt as if it was dragging. And it was like, all sorts of stuff happening. There were romances, there were intrigues, there was mystery, all sorts of stuff. And you got a feel of how the city evolved, how it went from being a village to a city.
Yeah.
And it was never the story of the rulers. It was always the story of the common people. And that stayed with me. And I said, I want to do something like that for Delhi.
For sure.
And that was the Daily Quartet. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm not going to try and handle Delhi from ancient times to now.
Sure.
But I said, let's do it from, say, 800 years ago to 1947.
Okay.
So the first book was The Garden of Heaven,
Right.
which was it starts just about 4 years before Muhammad Ghori attacked Delhi and set up the Delhi Sultanate.
Sure.
And it went up till Taimur's invasion.
Okay.
And this is the second book. The Unholy Drought is the second book.
Sure.
So it starts off a little after Taimur's invasion
I see.
and goes right up till Humayun's death.
The thing that I wanted to ask is that it's a topic that has been dealt with from possibly every angle by possibly every kind of author, But the thing about a Madhulika Liddle novel is not a novel, historical fiction is a better way of describing it, of course, is the fact that there are two parallel lines. One, of course, is, and you can tell that it's rooted very, very strongly in history, in research, and then there's a story that needs to be told as well. And reconciling that is something that I've always wanted to ask you about, because creative licenses can sometimes be blurred lines, can't they? Especially in the times we live in, no?
Yeah, in fact, what I try to do is, that is one of the reasons I don't usually write about the real people, the royalty and the sort of the illustrious personages are sort of...
Dealt with.
They're dealt with, and they're on a sort of... they may appear now and then.
Sure.
But in a very perfunctory sort of a way. They're not, like even in this, the person who is the royalty who is seen up close the most is actually somebody who's not talked about very much, and that is Gulbadan Begum, who was Babar's young daughter.
Sure.
And she's the one who probably comes close. But even then, I don't look into her head. I don't try to ascribe emotions to her. Sure. So what I do is I try to sort of stick with the fictitious characters. And I try to think of how life would be for people living in that age, and how they might have felt when they saw these, things happening around them, things over which they had no control.
Sure.
And it was not even the age where you could go and actually sort of take out petitions and, go online and rave about it.
And of course, you must give respect to social media, which is what this is all about. So we must ask you to make us a bit of a listicle, maybe 3 points about what you need to do to respect your subject matter, especially if you're treating a subject matter as sensitive as history.
First should be, it must be well researched and must be factual.
Yeah.
Right? Secondly, entertaining. Thirdly, if you don't have actual facts to sort of prop it up, you can, as somebody who's writing fiction, you can take
Liberties.
liberties, but you should explain that you have taken liberties. So what I do is I usually have a historical note at the end
Right.
where I say, okay, this is something which I did not know, so I have taken the liberty of assuming this.
Sure. Own it.
Yes, I do that.
Yeah.
I do that. You know, as fortunately as a writer of fiction, I have that leeway to.
I think fiction gives you that elbow room, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But I think you should explain it for people who think that everything that is, even in a novel, is historical. It is not.
What I will say is that if you want a taste of history with a little bit of storytelling thrown in so that you learn with a smile on your face, this is a good place to start. It's the second of the series. It's called An Unholy Drought. It's about the city that I am unquestionably and unquestioningly in love with, which is Delhi. And of course, for making all this effort for us to vicariously enjoy Madhulika Liddle, we'd like to thank you for writing this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And of course, please remember to like, share, subscribe if there's anything that sort of, made a home here. Maybe a good idea to sort of click that button there. Radio 1, 94.3 Radio 1, the official page. Follow it, tell us what you think because validation, man, that's what we live for. Thank you for watching.
94.3 Radio 1.